Hello everyone, welcome to Stand Up with Lorie. I am so grateful that you are joining us today, and I am super excited to introduce you to Matt Fendon. He is a workers' comp attorney, owner of Matt Fendon Law Group. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off by getting to know a little bit about you.
Sure. So I am a board certified workers' compensation specialist, which means essentially I had to take an extra bar above and beyond the regular state bar requirements. I had to have a certain number of cases go through the system and so on and so forth. So only 2% of the attorneys in the state are board certified in their area. I'm the president and founder of Matt Fendon Law Group, which focuses primarily on workers' comp. We do a little bit of Social Security disability and a little bit of employment law as well. We only represent injured parties. We don't represent any employers or any insurance companies.
Why did you decide to go into this profession?
So this is actually a second career for me. So when I came out of undergrad, I was going to be a broadcaster. So I was going to be a sports broadcaster. And so I worked in that career field for a couple years and I didn't really like it. Well, my dad is a longtime workers' comp attorney as well. So I've worked on and off in a workers' comp firm since I was a teenager.
So it's in your blood.
It's in my blood. Yeah, so I was answering phones and doing filing when I was a teenager. So then when I decided I didn't want to go into broadcasting, he gave me the opportunity to start over there, and it just kind of took off.
Please tell us briefly about your education.
Sure. I got my undergraduate degree in communications from Grand Canyon University. I have a master's in business administration from University of Phoenix, and then I have a Juris Doctor from Western Michigan University. So I put in a lot of time to my education.
What do you love about Arizona?
I love how geographically diverse it is. Like you can go from the desert here in Phoenix, 2 hours north, you're in the Pines in Flagstaff. And so I just love how geographically diverse it is, and it's just such a great place. Like you can't explain it until you've seen it.
A wonderful place with great people.
Exactly.
Will you please give us a brief overview of your practice?
Sure. So my practice is primarily in workers' compensation, but we also handle a little bit of Social Security, disability, and employment law matters. So we only represent plaintiffs and injured parties. We don't represent any insurance companies or employers. So it's all about maximizing the benefits that they're entitled to and getting them the workers' comp benefits they need. If it's a Social Security case, helping them get on disability, or if it's a wrongful discharge or discrimination type case, Josh Black, who's our employment lawyer, handles those.
I know there's a question that comes up quite often, and the question is, can I sue my employer?
Yeah, that comes up every day. I get a call from a potential client asking me that. And the answer to that is no. The only time you can sue your employer if you're hurt on the job is if the employer intended the accident to happen. So what I mean by that is, let's say I didn't like one of my employees and I drove over them with my car in my parking lot. Well, then they could sue me in tort. But other than that, you could be grossly negligent and it's still only going to be work comp. You can't sue your employer.
How does someone know that they're eligible for a claim?
Great question. So a lot of people think that they have to be at a particular employer for a certain amount of time before they're eligible. You're eligible from day one. Like the minute you clock in, you're eligible for workers' comp benefits. If you are a W-2 employee, you're eligible. So that means if you have an acute type injury like a trip and fall, or if you do a lot of typing and keyboarding and things like that, you could have a gradual or repetitive type injury as well.
Stand Up with Lorie primarily focuses on personal injury. Can you explain to us how workers' comp and personal injury go hand in hand?
Yeah, great question. So essentially how they go hand in hand is, let's say that my boss tells me to go run an errand and I'm out driving around in a car and I get T-boned and it's somebody else's fault. Well, I'm on the clock, so that's workers' comp, but then somebody else caused the accident too. So that's personal injury. So in that circumstance, the employee has both a workers' comp claim and a personal injury claim. We also run into that with construction accidents. So like if you have a general contractor who's responsible for maintaining a safe construction site and doesn't do that and doesn't maintain it and keep a safe working environment, somebody that's injured as a subcontractor could potentially sue the general in personal injury as well.
What do you do as an attorney for your clients? What are your responsibilities?
So my responsibilities are making sure that they get all the benefits that they're entitled to under the workers' comp system, which is a very complex system. So there's a lot of pitfalls and there's a lot of things that can go wrong on any given work comp claim. So my job is to help them navigate it, maximize their benefits. If the claim is denied, I help them get the claim accepted. If they get their medical cut off prematurely, which happens all the time, they'll send them to a DME or an IME and they'll cut off the benefits. It's my job to get their benefits reinstated. So there's just a whole myriad of things that I can assist somebody with. So if somebody has a traumatic work comp claim, something significant where they have a potential permanent disability, it's better for them to get a lawyer than not.
Okay, so somebody hires a lawyer, but maybe they're afraid to call you because they don't have the money to hire you. How does that work?
Great question. So with that, essentially, we get paid out of any compensation they receive. So they don't have to pay anything up front. If they're not getting paid from the insurance company, then I'm not getting paid. So it's contingent on them receiving a benefit.
Tell me about what you love about what you do and the fulfillment it brings you.
So what I love is I get to help people on an everyday basis. So I get to make a living helping people. So to me, that's really cool. So you make a difference in people's lives, which in a lot of careers, you don't get to do that. So it's just fantastic to go to work every day and know that I'm helping people better their lives. And they're going through the worst times of their lives right now, because when you get hurt on the job, it's horrific. Your income's down, you're hurt first and foremost, so you're in pain. And so sometimes they just need you to be a shoulder to cry on, essentially. So a lot of my job is just talking to my clients and helping them and just being there for them.
How does it make you feel when you're able to help one of your clients?
It's just the most gratifying thing on the planet. Like I'll take a compliment from a client saying, "Hey, you were just amazing," over money any day of the week. Like, money is great, but there's just a whole different level when you have a client say, "Hey, you saved me. Like you were there for me, and I couldn't have done this without you." That's just fantastic.
What would you like our viewers to know about your law firm?
So if they get hurt on the job, and whether it's a minor injury or a major injury, I want them to know that they can come to us for a free consultation, one way or the other. Even if it's not a case that we would take, they're going to talk to a lawyer. That's just how it works. And we're one of the few work comp firms that do that. So there's other work comp firms, when you call them, you don't get to talk to a lawyer. You always talk to a lawyer when you call my firm. So that's the main thing, is like, don't be afraid to call, because you don't know what your rights are. And another situation that I see frequently is undocumented folks. They're worried about filing workers' comp claims. They're completely eligible for workers' comp. And so I always tell them, hey, come to me, and you're still eligible for workers' comp, but immigration status doesn't matter at all. So I think that's one of the big misnomers too. People think that if they're undocumented, they're not entitled to work comp, and they absolutely are.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Matt. Is there anything else you would like our viewers to know before we go?
No, I just appreciate you taking the time to have me over here today. I really appreciate it.
Please let our viewers know where they could find you.
Sure. So you can find us on the web at www.fendonlaw.net. And so that's F as in Frank, ENDONLAW.net. Or you can reach us at 602-562-9111.
I hope you all enjoyed this valuable information on workers' compensation. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Matt Fendon. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.